I mean, there's a whole landscape of different opportunities that are emerging, and they all have their own different risk profile. I'd say that it's still reasonably early in that space as well. So the quantification of risk and some of these things is hard to evaluate. Um, but if you were to allocate your Bitcoin, there's some things like there's no native yield on Bitcoin, of course, but there are these kind of Bitcoin staking products that are out there. And what that is effectively doing is using your Bitcoin as collateral. You're posting that collateral to secure a blockchain network. We've got Starknet staking. We have Meso staking as well. These are layer one chains or Ether2s that are able to use Bitcoin and tBTC as that collateral asset. So effectively, you're providing economic security in these environments for providing that collateral. You can earn a yield based on that. So in terms of the financial risk, that's quite low. I'm not really commenting on the security of the protocols themselves or the platforms themselves, despite me having no concerns about that personally. But there's no rehypothecation or leverage or lending that's exposing you to counterparties through those strategies. And then you have some asset manager that is basically using tBTC on chain to generate a yield. And it could be that they're borrowing USD against that, and then they're using that in some kind of perp trading strategy, delta neutral strategy, and that's delivering yields back to that vault. So that's one that, while the strategy can be delta neutral, so you're kind of hedged out against Bitcoin price risk, you're still exposed to the management strategy and the counterparty risk of that asset manager. In theory, it's not quite the same as you just giving somebody your Bitcoin and they just go do what they want with it. These on-chain vaults are really powerful because you can set the constraints of what kind of actions are actually possible within that vault. So you could deposit tBTC into that, for example, and the only actions that vault can take is borrow USD within this kind of fixed ratio and then allocate that to some kind of perp dex. So you could really define the scope and the risk of the strategy in that sense. But there are layers. There's the contract risk and these platforms and liquidity risk and these kind of things. They're certainly not risk free, but I think as that space continues to develop, as well as this institutional product space building out, they're going to be more regulated, and I think that will also reduce the risk.